says, look, kid, I got 2 pieces of advice for you. Just finish what you got with this Makoto guy and then move on. So like, don't cut it off, but end it and let him see your ass as you walk away from him. That's my advice to you. Do whatever you want, but I think that's from me.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's up to Asakura Mitsu how we proceed with that. So, I mean, I have no attachment to Makoto, and it's out of my hands. So,
the other thing as well, I mean, buddy, I would give you maybe a little advice about our good old daimyo, good old Washima Fuhito. Mm-hmm. Last time he's been visited, I don't know, you know, I'm a gentleman. He hasn't been, let's say, as enthusiastic a consumer of our services as he used to be.
Okay.
The old
like
guy.
Wifey's been cracking down on him, I suspect.
Yeah.
If I'm reading that family right. Yeah.
Well, let me just get this last thing out. He says, you know, he comes over, yeah, play some Go, listen to some music, but a couple nights he just like falls asleep. So I don't know what's up with the old boy, but he might be getting on in years. So the family, you might want to work with the family, but I don't know if the old guy's going to be around with us much longer.
Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, so he just lays that out.
Yeah. Okay, well, I thank him for the information. Yeah. Okay.
So when we come back, where are we going to see your character? What's he going to be up to? Or just, you can think about it. I just want to say, okay, you got the meeting. Maybe in your mind, think about where you want to go next. And we'll just take it from there next time. Okay. So let's maybe go back to Gin. And the dad pretty much asks something along those lines. He says, you're back a little early. You look like you look good. You look, I don't know. You look older than.
I've definitely been touched by the divine in the along the way. So maybe that's had an effect. But but I'm first of all going to say, you know, I hope you've reviewed the agreement that we made.
Right.
That you remember your agreement with Makoto, but he has other plans in mind that are no good for the village, and which I am confident will come to a swift and abrupt end, not to his liking, very soon from now. So a wise investment, a prudent and thoughtful investment or approach would be to make sure that none of our activities, our assets, our arrangements in any way are connected with the soon to be no longer with us Makoto.
Yeah, he says, well, that's good to know. I got to tell you, you know, he was throwing his weight around terribly. And
he was awfully rude to me personally. I did not like that. And now he's going to be gone. And I have no idea what I might have had to do with that. Do I?
But he says he's been very quiet, though. He hasn't been snooping around. So he's keeping to himself. I have been fine. He hasn't been causing me trouble, but your words of wisdom are well taken.
Yeah.
So if I could maybe go over to, what's her name? Mitsu and her aunt. Again, first of all, she's glad you're back and you can concentrate on sensible things like your career at court. Do you tell her how many people you've killed?
Well, I'm not counting, so.
Wow! Oh yeah, there's that other guy.
I need her in some way anyway. Because there was two other things I want to do. But
you mean directly or indirectly?
Yeah. I mean, define die. I mean,
exactly. Depends on what kill, you know?
Yeah. Okay, let me. There's two things I want to say to my own, because I need advice and help for that. So first, I explained everything.
Okay, she's willing to listen.
So, and what I explain is the formal statement I want to do to the daimyo, which is that Makato's tried to bribe us. There was a castle of dishonored samurai, and they're all dead, and now we have a village without any ability to take care, and it could be a request, or we could approach the daimyo presenting the situation in favor of a family. Plus, those village guys was nice, so.
Prosperous village from now on. I can tell you that
not
much.
nice.
Crops are going to be great.
Yeah, nice means good peasant.
Good peasant. She said, okay, well, yeah, I'm scratching my head. I know those clans up there, they're basically nobodies. I don't remember the names, but it doesn't surprise me they abandoned or I don't know what they were up to, but I'm glad you have dispatched them.
Yeah, and there's a third thing, the most important one, is that all this Makoto thing, well, people from him like trained with Ashituru people. That's the right name, huh? Because I have two names.
Because
I think we changed the name. Yeah, okay, it's Ashituru. They trained together to have a small army to get the queen. And I don't know why a dishonored merchant will do that. No, I don't know why a samurai will stand with a dishonored merchant and run in to do that. So it could be a threat.
Well, her response.
We need to inform the daimyo.
Yeah, her response is, well, first of all, that Kobe has no family, no money, and he needs to eat. So that's why he sold his soul to this merchant. But yeah, I think the formal introduction to court can wait, because we need to get you right away to the castle, and you need to report this as a servant of the Washima clan. We need to get you out of here like this evening. We need to take you over. You will report as a soldier, not as a young courtier. Is that understood?
Yeah. Okay. So I had a last point, but when she says that, I like my last point was by my wedding, so I just say yes.
Damn, kicked down the calendar again.
But
that just keeps getting farther away.
We're gonna have to put that on back burner. All right, folks. I think we're good for now. Were you able to?
There's one thing. So we don't forget it. Did I probably lost some on for Doa showing the duel.
Yeah, let me just here. I have my.
Are you sure? Because you're not obliged to accept a duel.
As it works like this,
or as a non-samurai.
In society,
so that's a question. Yeah, it's a good question.
In society, yes, but as a follower of Bushido, as a man, he promised to be at a fight that he didn't show up for. So society isn't going to say, "Oh, the scoundrel didn't show up to duel," but the universe and karma are looking at you, and you didn't show up. You busted a promise.
Even if it was an order, I mean, I gave him an order.
Yes, but you live in a universe. So, look.
Well, even on a personal level, he knows that he's kind of made a compromise. Like he's chosen, a better alternative.
We're not trying to argue out of it. We're just kind of curious about all the ways.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we'll say something like, unlike dogs in the vineyard, where you do the right, and then you say, well, that's what God wants. That's the religion, based on what you want. This does have an objective score. So basically how you're going to become back reincarnated. So you promised a duel, but you didn't show up. So that's lying, breaking a promise. And breaking a promise to a dirtbag is a 5-on loss. Like it's a minimum.
Ah,
I could eat that. No
exactly. God, you know,
Problem. Yeah.
kill a
Okay.
dude next time. You'll get plenty back.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Okay.
The question is,
Hmm.
I'm not sure I have any more Bushido left in me.
Okay, man.
And the reason is it's not just, I mean, I actually quite like the game. There's a lot of things I'd like to play it again. But the game has been, I think, a really important learning experience for the system, but also for you as the game master.
Hmm.
And but it's also been, for me, just letting you know, it's been pretty high maintenance.
Hmm.
And I just don't think I have it in me to keep that up. All right, I need relaxing play, and there's been like a huge load of non-relaxing play in the last 6 months,
Yeah.
and
6 months.
it's just been really quite stressful. I the Spiel and Tooth games that I'm in, about 6 months ago, I said, okay, I need to stop being like the GM and letting other people, GM and run games and stuff like that. And it's been work. I did not really realize, or this is my take now after the last year. GMing is terribly, terribly fraught for most people.
It is, yeah.
Really fraught. I mean, from my perspective, they make it 500 times harder than they need to.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to come with this immense baggage and immense. It's not just relationships to a particular set of players. In fact, that's the least of it. It's a relationship to texts. The GM, the person who's game master, feels like they have a special relationship to the text, and it's often a very high pressure relationship, whether it's a scenario or a system or both. And that pressure is really, really overwhelming. And there's also what I've been talking about a lot, which is, okay, tell me what you guys think of this, because I think it's relevant to this game. The difference between, if you are the person who is basically the player of the calendar, right? The calendar. The sun goes up. If the sun is going to go up, it's because Eric says so. Okay, that's your job. Your job in our game is to make the sun go up and come down. Your job is, and then there's lots of other things attendant upon that. There's lots of other characters. There's lots of, right? There's a great deal of the backstory. What is the Daimyo like? I mean, we know he consorts with some hookers, but I mean, what else? We don't know. Right? So the point is that you have this enormous amount of information, and you also have the sort of make the daily grind to go forward. And that has a lot to do with whom we come face to face with, or it has to do with, if the encounter table turns up an encounter, you're like, okay, I have some characters to play, right?
And
so
during downtime, the rules may dictate, I'm sorry, at this point your plan got interrupted, like you have to go on a hunt.
Right.
Or you have to go attend court for a
Well,
month.
I'm not necessarily talking about what comes up because of roles and things, because that's a constraint that the GM is accepting.
The accepted constraint.
But so I'm much more interested in what the game master, what I should be saying is, anybody with certain contextual situational authority, which in this case happens to be this guy, what do they say and do when there is no procedural constraint or subroutine in action? Now, that is a hugely important point, because historically it has been confounded with, where is the story going to go?
Yeah.
But they aren't the same thing, are they?
They are the same.
No,
Mhm.
the first one is actually perfectly reasonable. Hey, look, you've got a job. There's a job that has to be done. We have to say the sun goes up and comes down, right? We have to say
Yeah.
whether, the other daimyo from the neighboring province comes and has an argument with this one. Somebody's got to say that shit. And we don't have a procedure for it. And so the procedure is make it up when you like it. That's
Yep.
the procedure.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
and I think, and I have nothing against that. That is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. And it's really what I mean when I say the GM is another player. Just like I can say my character walks left or right, you can say whether the neighboring daimyo comes and how they get along. Right? And this is good. This is a good thing. What it's not, though, is playing the next scene in your head and trying to adapt to whatever it is we're
Correct.
saying right now.
Correct.
And but do you see how those two things have become so solidified together?
Yeah.
And I think that's I want to spend the next year like taking everybody's head and like pulling those apart. Yeah.
Yeah, along that,
Yeah.
two things.
Mhm.
First of all, I will say, I like these guys. I like these two girls and this guy.
Mhm.
So if Gregory and David want to continue, I'm up for that. But what I was thinking is, since we do want to sort of dismantle this knot
Mhm.
of assumptions about story versus chunks of time,
Mhm.
an agenda for a chunk of time, and deciding what agents do what. Could we maybe 2 weeks from now, I can talk about this game and the materials I was working with and the scenario and some of the decisions in my head.
I think
I mean,
it
I
sounds
could do this
great.
privately but I would rather have the people who
We should all do it.
were up here, I was batting balls at. So 2 weeks from now, we can have that chat and we can post between now and then. But again, think about continuing these people because I want you to get married and I want you to become a trusted vassal. We'll see. But okay. So I'll schedule something 2 weeks from now. We'll take it from there.
No, I think we should meet. For that purpose, I'd love to meet for that conversation. Just on our ordinary schedule is fine.
Yeah.
And not be late this time.
Yeah.
I've been out there scraping a fence in the front yard all afternoon. So,
Oh, geez. Yeah.
yeah, that's been
Okay, gents. It was a really good morning. That was great. That's all I
okay.
can say.
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
glad you liked it.
Session.
All right,
Have a nice day.
take
Bye.
care.
See
Cool.
you. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.